Are we on the verge of a Lauren Betts versus Cameron Brink showdown in the Pac 12 tournament final? Wouldn't that just be the perfect end to women's Pac 12 basketball? It would be pretty good, but really, any final that the Pac 12 will have with the remaining four teams will be good, no doubt. All right, before we get started, if you like the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and give the video a like. All right, let's get into this. Obviously, in this video, we are going to review the Pac-12 tournament, what has happened so far, and what might happen moving forward. Now, the first day, the Pac-12 basically went to chalk with Colorado easily taking out Oregon, Cal taking out Washington State, Arizona taking out Washington, and Utah beating Arizona State. Now, Utah looked a little bit sluggish, but then they picked it up in the second half and won comfortably by 11. And well, this set up today's games, which were good. So it started off great with Colorado and Oregon State going at it. It looked on paper like this would be the best game, and it delivered everything. It went into double OT. Regan Beers being back for Oregon State made all the difference. It just gave them that extra toughness inside that they missed for the last 4 or 5 games that she had been out. Beers was good as well. She went for 27 points on 12 of 17 shooting. She had 13 rebounds, 2 assists. Von Lay battled her well. Like they gave it to each other back and forth, but Beers was a little bit stronger. Von Olhoffen didn't have a great game. She was only 4 for 14 shooting for 13 points. The one that really picked them up, they got unexpected or better than expected points from Perova off the bench. She was 5 for 11 for 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. When the game started, Colorado initially got on top. It just felt like they were a bit better warmed up from the previous game the night before. But then you could just see it settle in and knew this was going to be a battle the whole way through, as both of these teams were desperate for a win, as you knew they knew how important it was for seeding going into the tournament, and they were so well matched up against each other. Now, this was Oregon State going for their third win over Colorado. I don't know what the analytics guys say, but I do agree. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season, and you could tell after the game that Colorado was feeling it. Jalen Sherrod seemed inconsolable in the post-game interview. Just her voice was cracking, unfortunately, and it was a tough game because they were up 12 in the fourth quarter and they let it get away. Their shots probably weren't the best. They had a few turnovers and they just didn't close it out. Oregon State coach Scott Rueck said it after the UCLA win up in Corvallis. Just somehow, some way, he just has confidence that his team will find a way to win. And that's just seemed what exactly happened in this game. They had their magic elixir back in Regan Beers, and here we go, and they got it done. Now, I know Colorado, I think they were a 4 seed in the bracketology. I don't know if they'll remain in the top 16. I'm hoping they will, because I think they played a hard non-conference schedule. I think they're a good team, and unfortunately, just in a really tough conference. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch the other games. I watched highlights of them. I was hoping to watch the game between Arizona and USC, as Ada Barnes, after Arizona beat Washington yesterday, Ada Barnes was like, yeah, we're excited to play them. We owe them one. They felt like they let the game get away on their home court against USC, and they were looking for a bit of payback. Juju did not have her best game for USC. She was 5 for 14 for 17 points, but she had somebody go with her. So Rhea Marshall had a good game with 15 points on 7 of 13 shooting, and strong inside with 15 rebounds. Stanford and UCLA basically took care of business. Utah, I didn't get to watch the game, but from what I could see online, it just seemed like UCLA controlled the game against Utah, basically. And the same thing with the Cal-Stanford game. So this really sets up Oregon State versus Stanford. Should be a really, really good matchup. As on the inside for Stanford, you'll have Cameron Brink and Kiki Arieffin going against Beers and Gardner, and those 4 should really battle nicely. As that's a really good matchup. My curiosity is, can Talia von Oelhoffen, does Stanford have anybody to shut her down like how Juju went off on Stanford? I'm wondering if she might wind up having a big game. The same thing with UCLA. So this will be their third matchup, UCLA and USC, the rubber match, if you like. And it will be fun to watch to see if UCLA can contain Juju or not, or if they will stifle her like they did the first matchup, or if Juju can get away and dominate and get her teammates into it. Now, the dream scenario, probably for the Pac 12 organizers, is for UCLA and Stanford to make it through and to finally get that matchup of Cameron Brink going at it against Lauren Betts. Stanford obviously blew them out previously, but as you're aware, Lauren Betts was not there as well. I think Duliak was away, but Sontag was there, or vice versa. I think one of them was there, but I can't remember. But I am keen to see this matchup and with everybody there. And if Stanford decides just to guard Betts one-on-one, if they say, yeah, we've got Brink, and then we're going to try to put some pressure on their backcourt. And if it's the same way, vice versa, like when Brink's up in the high post, will Betts be on her, or will they put Betts on Kiki Arieffin? Yeah, I just want to see how those matchups play out. As I said in my previous video, I think the Betts transfer and Tahina Paopao were the two best transfers in college basketball last season. Betts has just been the perfect fit for UCLA, and it's really, except for that period when she was away, everything's been great for UCLA. But it's worked out for Stanford as well because it allowed Kiki Arieffin to get time and to show what a great player that she is. I'm not sure if she won Most Improved for the Pac-12 or not. You would think she would be a candidate or would likely win that award because her numbers have gone up dramatically, and she's talked about this in articles about how her confidence is so much more now just because she's not looking over her shoulder whenever she makes a mistake, thinking that she's going to get pulled out of the game. Like I said, I would love to see UCLA play Stanford, but if we get something, if it's USC, Oregon State, that's fine by me. Any combination of these four teams is great because they're all good teams and have battled all season. So whoever makes it there, it'll be a fun final to watch. I mentioned the hard luck for Colorado. I guess the other one I feel for a bit is Utah, as their season really took a dive once they lost Nikiepens to the foot injury, as it just put way too much pressure on Peely, unfortunately. As well, fans always complain about officials, but I thought Utah got some rough officiating in the Pac-12 this year, just due to misfortune. I think at Arizona State, a ref came in late to call an over the back when it would have been Utah's ball to try to win the game. And then when they were at home at Stanford late, like they held Stanford to a shot clock violation, but the refs missed it. Then the refs gave them a makeup call, but then when Peely had the ball and drove, it seemed like they were unwilling to make a foul call on her because they'd given this phantom call, on the out of bounds play, so they weren't going to make another call when Peely got hammered going to the basket. So, yeah, I think they've had a rough whistle this year. But no doubt, that's always the lament of the losing team. Again, my hope is we get a UCLA Stanford final. I just think it'd be fitting way to close out the Pac-12, but whatever they get, happy with. Anyway, your thoughts, comments, let me know. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope to see you next time. Good night.